Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show. Actually, it's a new experience. You'll notice a new set, new cups, new environment, new microphones, even headphones. My name is Scott Muri, and I'm the Superintendent of Vector County Independent School District, and it's a pleasure to have you with us today. We've got an interesting show today, two topics that are kind of hot right now, things that you'll find interesting. Got a couple staff members and even a former student that will introduce you with today. But we want to start today's conversation with our graduates. Now, it's the middle of January right now, and we're going to talk about our graduates, specifically a portrait of a graduate. We've been doing a lot of painting in ECISD as of late and creating what we call a portrait of a graduate. Why would a district do that? What does that mean? Who was involved? Those might be some questions that you're asking to yourself right now. And so tonight, we have invited a very special guest with us today. Ryan Merritt is the Executive Director of Career and Technical Education in ECISD, but also been very involved as we've developed this portrait of a graduate. So Ryan, first, welcome to ECISD. You're kind of a new addition to the team. When did you join us?
Well, that's right. Thank you, Dr. Muri, for the introduction. I joined ECISD back in August, and I've spent almost 20 years working in career and technical education, and just looking forward to continuing working here at ECISD with our CTE programs. And
so you've had an interesting pathway or journey to ECISD. Where were you right before you came to us?
So right before I came to ECISD, I worked at Region 18 Education Service Center.
Okay.
And prior to that, I worked at the Texas Education Agency as the State Director of Career and Technical Education.
So you really have a good vision of career and technical education from the state level, from the regional level, and now at the school district level. And so it's a pleasure to have you on the team. But before all of that began, you were a teacher in the classroom. Tell us about that.
I was. So I started teaching in Pflugerville ISD at Hendrickson High School, and I taught technology education. And I taught for 4 years, and then I got a position at central office working as a CTE coordinator, and then ultimately was the CTE director in Pflugerville ISD.
Good.
And so it was roughly 14 years.
Yeah, so you bring a variety of experiences to the team, from the classroom really to the Texas Education Agency, and sounds like everything in between. So glad you're here. We've been working on a body of work, and tonight we're going to talk about the portrait of a graduate. And I made the joke earlier that it is, I guess some people may have laughed, that we've been doing a lot of painting. And we think about that when we use the word portrait. But tell us, what is the portrait of a graduate?
So the portrait of a graduate is the way that the school district can organize all the work and the activities that are being done to prepare students for what happens after high school. So, kind of thinking about, what do we want students to learn beyond what's required in the core curriculum? And so I think about conversations that I have with parents and conversations that I have with employers. And what I often hear from them is, why don't you teach personal finance in high school? Why don't you teach parenting? Why don't you teach different life skills that are needed to prepare students for after high school? And so this gives us an opportunity to listen to our stakeholders and to focus on some of the areas that they think will better prepare their students to be contributing member of the workforce and also a positive member of the community.
So talk a little bit about that. You said it was an opportunity for us to really listen to what members of our community said. Who's been a part of this development of a portrait of a graduate?
So the process started off by a survey that was sent out by the school district asking what would people like to see as a focus for the school district to better prepare students. So the stakeholders that were given the opportunity to complete the survey were parents. It's always important to start with parents to get their feedback. Also employers in the local area, as well as post-secondary faculty and college students, as well as ECISD students.
So really, it sounds like from your description, anybody that is going to receive one of our graduates, the business community, the higher education community, really the workforce, so anybody that may see an ECISD graduate.
Exactly. And so we wanted to get the input from various perspectives so that we're ensuring that we're not overlooking things that we might not think about.
What kinds of things did you hear in these conversations?
So it was very interesting. First off, we had over 2,000 individual responses in terms of what knowledge and what skills they think the students need as they leave high school and move on to post-secondary.
So 2,000 just from that group, or did we survey some folks? How did we gather all those data?
So the data points were from the surveys, but also with meetings with the community.
Got it.
So again, people providing feedback. And so some of the big areas that we saw were self-improvement. So there were a lot of responses that said we want to ensure that our students are knowledgeable about time management, about organization, and even about nutrition. We also got a lot of feedback in terms of being life ready. And so some of the big themes that we saw under life ready were personal finance, everything from how do you pay your taxes to how do you balance a checkbook, all the things that we would want our students to have as they move off after high school, so that they can ensure that they're making good financial decisions.
Interesting. I've heard some of those same things before, and life ready versus career ready, that life ready skill. I know how to balance my checkbook. I guess today we really don't balance checkbooks.
True.
The machine does that for us. But it's still understand the concept of maintaining a balanced bank account or balanced checkbook. And so some of those life skills, did that come out pretty hard and heavy from our community?
It did. Absolutely. Okay. Again, out of the 2,000, there were a couple of pages that focused on that. And they also talked about debt, credit cards, just being educated on those topics as well. So our graduates don't move off and get into trouble financially due to overusing the credit card and not paying them off, every month.
What kinds of things did our business community tell us? Because it's really their future employees. Anything that you would lift up?
So one thing that I would say was they were interested in having students with good communication skills, interpersonal communication. And it reminds me of a conversation I recently had with a hiring manager from a welding company. And so they recently hired one of our students that's about to graduate this coming May. And they said that our student competed against adults in the career field. And one thing that separated our student from the others that they interviewed was the interviewing skills. And so this student goes to OC Techs. And so just thinking about all the benefits that students get going to the early college, high school, and the skills that they pick up there, not only the technical skills in welding, but the interpersonal communication skills were also very important.
So our student had the edge.
Had the edge and got the job.
Oh, interesting. So our high school student competing against a group of adults, and our kid got the edge.
That's right. That's right. And this was something that the company shared out at the Odessa College Advisory Board meeting with welding. They were very happy to tell that story, and very happy to talk about the student and how impressed that they were. And so we're looking at this spring having some career placement fairs with different industries. And so one of those industries will be welding. And so we're looking to do just this. We're looking to connect the employers to the upcoming graduates that are looking to graduate and go into a full-time job.
Why would a school district want to create a portrait of a graduate? Sounds like it's been a lot of work to gather all those data. Well, what's our purpose? How do we benefit?
So we want our students to have choices after high school, to be prepared for whatever it is that they want to do. And so that path could be leaving high school and going into college. It could be leaving and going into the workforce, or also going into the military. We want them to be prepared in all aspects for any option that they would like. So some other themes that came up, like you mentioned, career ready. And so there is a difference between career ready and life ready. And so there was a big connection with wanting students to see how what they're learning in high school connects to future jobs and future employment. And so that was a big thing. And so within the school district, we offer 26 CTE programs of study that provide a roadmap for students so that they can dive deep into specific career fields. So we have everything from welding to health science to engineering, many others, and that gives the student that deep knowledge so that they can make more informed decisions about life after high school.
So part of this is to help our own students see pathways into life or career or those options, painting, there we go, painting again, that career, that pathway.
Absolutely.
Students.
That, and then we also want to contribute back to the local economy. We want to ensure that we're producing talent, skilled human talent, so that they can get jobs and be a positive impact on the economy as well.
Will this body of work create change within ECISD?
Yes, it will. So the portrait of a graduate should serve as a guide to ensure that decisions that we make go back to the goals that we have set forth in the portrait of a graduate. So many of these things are not lessons that you'll learn just in high school, but it's really a K-12 approach. We need to ensure that we understand the indicators that are in the portrait, but also kind of reverse map those things down into the middle school level, into the elementary school level, so that students are starting to think about careers at an earlier age. We're about at the time of the year where students in 8th grade have to make a decision about how they want to spend their 4 years in high school with their 4-year plan. And so we're hosting an 8th grade high school program fair at Odessa College on January the 24th. And so this will give the student an opportunity to go meet students in high school that are taking these programs,
Sure.
give them a chance to talk to the teachers and also college faculty to kind of give them a glimpse on, what their future could look like if they pursued education in that area.
Many of the members of our audience are parents of ECISD students, pre-K all the way through 12th grade. And so how does this body of work affect me as a parent? Or perhaps what should I be paying attention to as a parent, knowing that this body of work exists?
So I think one example I would give is kind of in the area of college readiness. That was another theme that surfaced. They wanted to ensure that the students were ready for the next step going to college. And so there's many different moving parts when it comes to having to have a student transition into college. And so some of those areas are ensuring that students have the opportunity to take college placement exams so that they can be considered college ready, so that they don't have to take remedial courses while they're in college. They can go ahead and meet the standards in high school, which ultimately save the parents time and money. And so, that's one example of how, as a parent, some of the work that we're doing not only addresses the state requirements of what we have to do, but giving students opportunities to kind of get a head start. And so that's one example. Another area is in dual credit opportunities. So students are able to take dual credit in both some of the core academic areas, but also in career and technical education. And again, that gives the student a head start toward either an associate degree or a 4-year degree, and saves the parent money in the process.
So you've used a lot of vocabulary today that if I was a high school parent, I've probably heard some of these words or phrases or terms, but if I'm an elementary or middle school parent, this is a bit of Chinese to me, if you will. I maybe a language I've never heard. What should I pay attention to elementary, middle school as my kid makes their way into the high school environment?
Yeah, so that's a great point. A lot of new terminology, a lot of acronyms are used sometimes. And so I think that's part of the work with the Portrait of a Graduate, ensuring that we provide workshops and opportunities for parents to learn about some of these things, such as dual credit, advanced academics, at an earlier age. So we're also working on an initiative called the Effective Advising Framework. And that framework does just this. It pushes a lot of this information down to the middle school and elementary school ages, so that, for instance, students should start looking into what careers are available even in elementary school, and start phasing that, that career exploration in over time. So by the time they get into middle school, they know what career clusters are. They can start thinking about which career clusters match their interest, so that then when they work on their high school 4-year plan, they'll have a better chance to make a more informed decision about what they're truly interested in.
So giving me confidence as a parent, then, the school system has created the Portrait of a Graduate. So it's what a high school senior should know and be able to do to be successful after they leave us. And then, especially middle school and elementary, it's that advising framework that our counselors will be aware of, really down to the elementary level, that will help guide kids as they transition from elementary to middle to ultimately becoming that Portrait of a Graduate.
Absolutely.
Good. Hey, Ryan, thanks for joining us tonight. Any final words for those watching, for parents or our own staff members?
Well, I would just like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little information about the Portrait of a Graduate. We are finishing the draft, and sometime within the next week, we're going to send out that draft Portrait of a Graduate to give the community an opportunity to provide some feedback. And then once we get the feedback, the committee will meet again, and then we'll look at the feedback and make the revisions necessary so that we have the finished product done by the summer. And so the information should be out and ready by the time we start the next school year.
Good. So parents, if they want more information, could visit the school district website?
That's right. And we're going to send that information out through social media and also post it on the district website once it's ready to go.
Hey, thanks, Ryan.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate
being here today. And so parents, again, ECISD Portrait of a Graduate coming your way over the next several weeks. Look for either on the ECISD website or on social media, more information. Also, how you can weigh in and let your voice be heard as we continue to develop that portrait of what an ECISD graduate should know and be able to do to be successful as they enter life. We're going to take a quick break, but we invite you to join us as we begin to talk about our choice schools in the next segment. Welcome back. I hope you had a good break. We've transitioned guests and are going to move on to our next topic this afternoon. Choices. We live in a world in which the world is filled with choices and options. We make them every single day. And as a school system, we feel that it is important that our students and our parents have a school district filled with choice. And so today we're going to dive into the concept of choice. What does that mean in ECISD? What types of choices are available, and why in the world would choice be important for us? So I've got two special guests today, one student and one individual that kind of oversees our choice program. So Marisol and Chad, thank you both for joining us today. Chad, we're going to start with you. Chad, you lead the Choice School program in ECISD. So tell us a little bit about that. Who are you, and then what is it that you lead for us?
Yeah. First of all, thanks for having me, Dr. Muri. My name is Chad Crowson. I'm the Executive Director of Choice Programs, Access, and Support. And so myself and my team, we help to oversee and support the 14 choice schools in ECISD. Schools where we have students from pre-K all the way through 12th grade, and pursuing all sorts of different interests. These are schools that are traditional in nature, but a little bit different, right? So these are schools where students go and they receive their core content curriculum just like they would at a regular neighborhood school where you would be, say, zoned to school. But also there's something special about them, something unique, where we're trying to tap into a particular student interest, where students are able to apply to these schools because they feel like, hey, this is the school for me. Instead of just the plain Jane school that I might have down the street, instead, this is a school that really speaks to my particular interests. It's going to get me to where I want to be. And so my team works with other leaders at the district level and these campus leaders, of course, to support students at these campuses.
So you said we have 14 choice schools in ECISD. What are some of those choices that students can select?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have all sorts of different choices. At the elementary school level, we have choices like Montessori, dual language, STEAM programs, which stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Okay.
We have programs that are specific to leadership, for example, to different careers that students might be interested in. And then as you progress into the middle school and the high school ranks, then you get to specialize a little bit further. Our high schools enjoy partnerships with Odessa College. For example, we also have a partnership with the New Tech Network, and so we're able to provide some specific curriculum to those students so that they can pursue interests as they prepare for college, career, the military, or whatever it is that they might be interested in. So we essentially have a continuum where you can start in choice schools in pre-K, work through elementary school, middle school, all the way into high school as you prepare for life as a graduate of ECISD.
So lots of options. How are these options created over time?
Well, interesting question. So choice schools were originally called magnet schools long ago, and so we've sort of changed the nomenclature. We refer to them as choice schools now. And over time, some of them have morphed. So some of our campuses have been in existence from the very beginning of the magnet school program, and they're still performing at the in the same way as they were back then. They're the same theme is existing in those schools, but then in other cases there have been some changes. So, for example, we had a school years ago that was centered around communications, broadcast communications. As the world became more digitized and we began to take in communications in different ways, we recognized that maybe that didn't have the same interest for young people as it did in an earlier generation. And so we sort of switched that into a career and leadership campus. And so some of them have changed and morphed over time. We've also brought new choices on. So for example, just this past year, where we have a partnership now with the STEM Academy at UTPB, that's one of our choice schools. So if we had the same conversation last year, I would have told you we have 13 choice schools. And today I'm telling you we have 14 choice schools. And that's because the STEM Academy is a new addition for us.
So when I introduced this segment, I said, we're a district that believes in choice. Why is that important? And why do we believe that?
Well, we believe that it's important for students to have an opportunity to pursue their particular interest. And so in our department, we refer to it as high quality, best fit schools for every child. And I personally believe that all of the schools in ECISD are high quality, but they might not necessarily be the best fit for a particular student. So when you sit down and if you're a parent and you talk to your child, or you're maybe a secondary student, you're having these conversations with yourself, what is it that you're most interested in? What is the school that's the best fit for me? I invite folks to sort of peruse our website, look at what the different options are, what's unique about those particular campuses, and pursue one of those campuses if it fits what you're most interested in. Of course, we also recognize that there are students who are very well served in their traditional neighborhood school, and that might be the choice for them. That's their best fit school. Yep. And there are choices within those schools as well. And my particular team might not oversee that work, but when we're getting into the spring semester now and secondary students are going to fill out their course selection, you might be thinking of a particular CTE course or pathway that you want to take, or you want to get involved in athletics or fine arts or extracurriculars. These are all choices that we make regardless of what school that we attend. And we think it's important that families and students have a say in what it is that happens for them at school so that they have the very best learning environment possible.
So ideally, we want those 33,000 students that we serve to have a choice. Could be a neighborhood school choice. That's where I want to go. Or it could be another type of best fit choice. Marisol, I'm going to come back to you, Chad, but I want to kind of bring you in right now. First, Marisol, thank you for joining us this afternoon. You have an interesting story. So you just told me you're a graduate of ECISD last year, but last year was actually last month.
Yes, December.
Yeah, so congratulations on your graduation. You just graduated from which school?
I graduated from Odessa Collegiate Academy.
So let's talk about that. Chad said that choice schools are about best fit. And so when did you decide that the best fit for you would be Odessa Collegiate Academy?
Well, my older sister actually attended OCA. Okay. But the way she described the community at OCA, and then I like the idea of a high school being on a campus. So we were given more resources than, again, your neighborhood high school would have. And OCA was just a nice, small community. So everyone, it was really easy to get to know everyone, and it seemed a bit overwhelming, but once you get into it, it's not that bad.
Yeah. So you're on a campus. OCA is located on the Odessa College campus. We have a really great partnership with Odessa College, and we actually have two schools on their campus, OCA being one, and then OC Tex is the other one. Do you think you had a different type of experience at OCA, one that might differ from which high school? If you had gone to your neighborhood high school, what school would that have been?
Probably Permian.
Permian High School. Mm-hmm. So do you think your experience at OCA was different from what the students at Permian might have experienced?
Mm-hmm, for sure. Mainly because we had teachers and then we had professors. So it was really strange having like two different types of work. Mm-hmm. And of course, being surrounded by people who weren't your age. Sure. You were put into classes with people that were adults, sometimes as old as your parents, mm-hmm. which was a bit strange. And I feel like at OCA, I had a bit more creative freedom.
Okay.
And I think it was just an overall welcoming environment.
Well, most of your courses were college courses, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was, you could look beside you and there's a 40-year-old person who's taking the same course as you being, 17 or 18 years of age. That's the reality of college life. And you got to experience that at the high school level.
Yep.
So best fit for you.
Yes.
Interesting. So Chad, back to you. We have 14 choices in ECISD. How would a parent or a student become familiar? So Marisol said you had a sibling that went there. Obviously, it was in your home and a part of that conversation every day. But the typical parent, I don't have anybody at a school. How would I find out what we have to offer?
Yeah, a couple of different options. We like to consider our choice department website as sort of a one-stop shop for information about all 14 of our campuses. So if you navigate over to ectorcountyisd.org and currently, you can click on the choice application hot link that's there because it's the choice application window. But typically through the department page there, click on choice schools, and you can actually find a listing of all of the schools, these buttons that you easily click on, and you kind of check out all the different information that's available there. And on that website, I always implore people to sort of dig deeply into that because there's some information down at the bottom of that page. You click some different buttons and other opportunities open up for you to explore more. So that's the first step that I would take. Okay. And then if you had questions after that, right, you see something on there that's of interest to you or your student, but you're not quite ready to make the commitment to apply for that school, then you can obviously contact our team directly, or I think it's best to go visit the campus or to call that campus and speak to one of the campus leaders, speak to a teacher or one of the office staff members. Okay. Ask them your questions. They're there every day. They could tell you exactly what student life is like there, what you can expect. And hopefully that will help you to make a well-informed decision when you're considering applying.
Okay. So you mentioned the window. We're in the middle of the window, or actually the window's open right now for application. So it's not something you can do 365. It's something that has to be done. What is the window? What is the window for the window?
Yes. So we're nearing actually the end of the window now. Okay. So the window it opens on December 1st of each year.
All right.
And it remains open through January 15th. At 11:59 p.m. on January 15th, we will close down the window, at least for initial applicants. It will remain closed until February 15th, and that is when we'll actually conduct our lottery. And so all of our schools in pre-K through 8th grade, in addition to the STEM Academy at UTPB, use a lottery system in order to assign seats. Our choice high schools, like the one that Marisol attends here, they actually do applications at the campus on a first-come, first-served basis.
Okay.
But they still have the same application window. So as we record this now, we're nearing the end of the window for this year. And these are students that are applying for admission for next year. So to begin at that school in what would be the fall of 2023. So I would definitely encourage folks, if they're interested, to make sure that you meet that 11:59 p.m. deadline on January 15th. Otherwise, the application won't reopen again until March, and then you're essentially in waitlist status, hoping that a seat opens up.
So what I hear you say is choice schools fill up, and and lottery. I mean, obviously more kids than there are seats. And so some of those choice schools will hold a lottery in order to decide who gets to come there.
That is correct.
Okay.
It's important to us that, as most people know, but I like to reiterate this, choice schools are available to everyone in ECISD. It doesn't matter where you live, and we'll actually provide transportation if you apply and live within Ector County to any of these schools if you're not able to transport yourself there. But it is important for us that we provide equitable access, and the way that we do that is through a computerized lottery system. So there's no advantage to applying right at the beginning. I know some people think that, but really, as long as you get your application in during that window and you've checked all the boxes there, you've completed all the required tasks, then you have a fair and equal shot of getting to your getting your number one choice.
Yeah, no, I think so. I'll lift up a couple things. One, from an equity perspective, you talked about there's a fair process. I mean, we have a system that generates that lottery and makes so it doesn't matter when you apply. Everybody has an equal shot. But also transportation. That's something the district doesn't have to provide, but we do that to ensure that whatever your transportation situation, potentially whatever your level of poverty, you have an equal shot at attending any of our choice schools in ECISD, transportation provided. Marisol, did you take advantage of transportation or did you drive every day?
I didn't. I live outside of Ector County.
Oh, so that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So Marisol doesn't live in Ector County. So how did Marisol get in, Chad?
So we do allow students outside of Ector County to apply for our choice schools. However, we do provide preference to students who live in Ector County first. Okay. So we have if you go to our website, you'll see that we have some preference levels. And so siblings, for example, of students who are currently at that choice school are provided preference over other students. And then Ector County students are provided preference before out-of-district students. But we obviously want to provide these opportunities to as many students as we can. And so students like Marisol have obviously taken advantage of that opportunity.
We'll fill those seats. Let's make sure that we can, again, provide those high-quality experiences. So Marisol, tell us a little bit about your experience at OCA. First, I want to go back to maybe middle school before you started. And you had a sibling that was already in the school, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the only way you learned about the school, or did you do a visit or remember anything?
Yeah, I mainly learned it through my sister, but we had summer bridge at OCA where we were able to go over the summer, and then they would give us kind of a tour of everything, introduce us to some of the seniors, and of course some of the teachers. So it wouldn't be as overwhelming on the first day of school.
Tell us about it. First, was it the right choice for you?
Yes, it was. The thing about OCA is it's not just your general associates that you can go for. If you want to go into business or STEM, you can do that as well. You will be taking like different courses other than other students, but of course there's going to be other students that are also going for that. So you can always just communicate and teamwork and participate all together.
So you graduated with a high school diploma. Did you also graduate with an AA degree or AS degree?
My associates. So I graduated with my associates before I graduated with my high school.
Pretty amazing. So you were a college graduate before you were a high school graduate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you feel more prepared than your typical high school student?
I think I do because I have the experience of like college. So I know kind of what to expect from professors, and hopefully I have some technological experience as well. So.
Well, actually, you'll be a junior in college. Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll be taking junior and senior levels at UTPB.
So really 2 years. So UTPB, walk us through the plan. So now that you've graduated, what's next?
This Thursday, I think I'm planning on going to the orientation, and then I'll start classes January 17th with my older sister.
Wow. Oh, with your older sister. Mm-hmm. Wow. Did she start her junior year, or do you remember if she?
I think immediately.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah, interesting. And then any degree opportunities? Do you know what you want to major in at UTPB?
Yes. I want to go into psychology, maybe more of the social working.
Okay.
I want to go into social work.
We hire social workers, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
If you're interested. There you go. That's
there
right.
There you go. I'm already hooked up.
There you go. Exactly. Give her a contract. Whoever.
Yeah.
Chad, let's give her a contract. There you go. That's exciting. Good for you. Good for you. What drew you to that particular profession?
I think I've just always enjoyed talking to people, and then of course learning about the brain and then the lifespan of psychology and behavior. I don't know. I've always just enjoyed studying that kind of stuff.
So before you all came on, we had a conversation about the portrait of a graduate, really painting the picture, designing a pathway that makes sure that every student that graduates from ECISD is prepared. You just graduated in December. Do you think that you're prepared to be successful at UTPB?
I hope so. I think I am. But actually, I never even heard about the senior portrait until now.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it sounds like a really nice opportunity.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, again, with the goal of making sure that you and the thousands that will follow you are well prepared for their future. Chad, back to you. So the window is open right now for moms and dads. You've shared with us on the website how they could find out more information. What else does a parent need to do? If I'm interested today, I listen to this, I go to the website, walk me through.
Yeah, so head over to our website if you're interested in particular campuses, and you can do some research there, as I mentioned. Once you're ready to apply, click the big Apply Now button there at the top, and it's actually a really simple process. We have an updated choice application system this year, and so you can really apply in a matter of minutes. It walks you through step by step. Can be done from any computer. You can also do it from a cell phone or a tablet. Probably a little easier from a computer if you have access to that. If you don't have access to that and still want to apply, then I would encourage you to visit one of our choice campuses or visit the student admissions office downtown, and we have staff there that are able to assist to walk you through that process as long as you get it completed before January 15th.
Okay, finish the process. So I've applied, I finished. How do I find out that I'm in?
Yeah. So I will, as I mentioned earlier, the lottery will run itself on February 15th.
Okay.
Parents will be notified on February 20th.
Okay.
And then you actually log back into your account that you create when you set up the application in order to either accept or, in some cases, deny the selection you made. I neglected to mention earlier that you do actually have choices, so you can pick option 1, option 2, option 3. The lottery will automatically give preference to your choice number 1, but if that one is full and you maybe don't make it into that one for whatever reason, then you might get into option B or option C. And a parent then has a decision to make to accept one of those, or you could elect to be waitlisted at the school that maybe you missed out on. So again, the student admissions office staff is happy to walk you through all those questions that you might have once the lottery actually runs. One other thing that I also neglected to mention earlier, there are a few of our campuses that do require parents to attend an orientation prior to the lottery running. So if you go through the application process, you get a pop-up window that says, hey, make sure you attend orientation. I highly recommend that you do so. Failing to attend that orientation could result in your application being pulled prior to the lottery running. We do that not as to create a barrier for anyone, but some of our campuses feel it's important that families and students come out, hear from the principal, know exactly what it is that this campus is about, so they can ensure that it is a good fit for them. Those parent orientation sessions, some of them are still taking place. So if you see that, make sure you attend that orientation session prior to the lottery.
Kind of goes back to best fit. You want to, just like at OCA, you want to make sure that in making this decision, that it is indeed the right decision for your child, and so those orientation opportunities make sure. So I'll find out as a parent in February. I can accept that decision, and then we're good to go.
That is correct. And once you're in a school, if it's a school that you're happy with and your child is doing well, the good news is that you do not have to apply for the lottery again. You're at the school already. You just fill out the intent to return form, and you get to come back year after year until it's time to select a new school, because you've moved on from elementary school to middle school, for example, or middle school to high school.
Or you graduate in December and go off to college. That
could be that too.
That's right. That's exciting. So Chad, Marisol, thank you both for being with us this afternoon. And for you at home, again, the choice window is open right now, closes the 15th of January. So if you're interested in finding out more about choices in ECISD, visit the website, www.ectorcountyisd.org. Click on choices to find out about the 14 choices. And if you're interested, make sure that you apply before the 15th. Once again, thank you, Chad and Marisol, for being here today. And thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time. My name is Scott Muri, Superintendent, Ector County Independent School District.